Okay, we're all set to go here. All right, we've got everything sanitized and cleaned, and let's do this. So I'm gonna grab my tubing from the Star San. It's all nice and sanitized. I'm gonna put it on, oops, there you go. That's what we wanna do, is grab some Star San and spray it up into our valve there. And what you can do is you can turn it upside down if you want, but I think that's fine. I could hear it go in there. And then we'll slide our tubing on. There we go. Okay. Now, airlock. Remove your airlock. Take off your lid. Just place it down somewhere upside down like that. Put your tubing all the way down to the bottom. There's lots of Star San foam in there, that's good. Okay, and start your siphon. It's nice to have a bottling bucket like this. Okay, if you don't have a spigot, then you're gonna have to use a auto siphon or a J-tube or whatever it is you have. I like the bottling buckets. I brew right in my bottling bucket. I sanitize my spigot every time. I make sure everything's clean. I brew right in there, and then when it's ready to transfer over to my keg, it's very easy and handy. If you're doing a two-stage fermentation, then you're obviously going to probably be in a carboy, or you might be, yeah, you probably are going to be in a carboy, so you're going to have some sort of an auto siphoning system. So there's one thing you're going to notice. I've never seen it do that before, but as the beer goes in, the foam from the Star San comes out, and well, there you have it. So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, we're all done, and I have some sort of a serpent coming out of my my keg there. That's hilarious. I couldn't anyway. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Kids would love that. And everything is good. It's covered in Star San. Everything's nice and sanitary. And we're just going to get that out of there. And we're just going to grab our lid. And at this point, our beer is about 99% safe. Okay, so now that we've got our beer inside the keg, what you need to do is hook up your gas line. And you want to put about a couple of pounds on it, because I don't want to force, you see there's oxygen inside here. In the space at the top, there's some oxygen. So what I want to do is I want to purge that out. But I don't want to put 15, 20 pounds of pressure on here, because that's just going to push the oxygen into the beer. Okay? So we're purging the tank of oxygen. It's going to completely be CO2 in there. And I'm going to do this about 4 or 5 times. A little bit of beer might come up through here. That's fine. That's why we sanitized the pressure relief valve. And I am certain now that this beer is completely safe. You can store this in a closet. Wait for it to clear. Wait for it to age. It's got CO2 on it. It's got a couple of pounds of pressure on it. Nothing can happen to it now. You can do whatever you want. Now you can't hurt this. Okay? You can pressurize it. You can put it in the fridge. You can put it in the closet. You can, shake it about. It doesn't matter what you do. It's completely safe. Now let's talk a little bit about carbonation. What would you do at this point if you wanted to carbonate this and you have a spare fridge somewhere where you can put it down and get it nice and cold? What do you want to do? Well, I have a chart in the more info section, once again, that will show you the different temperatures, the different amounts of carbonation, the different types of beer, and so on and so forth. And if you want to get fussy about it, you can follow that chart. What I would do if I were you, and this is what I did at the first, was I set my regulator to 30 pounds. I'm going to need my screwdriver here. So you just crank it up to 30 pounds. So the needle goes up to the top, right at 30. There you go. 30 pounds of pressure. And just your gas is off. Doesn't matter, you can turn it on. There's a valve in here, it turns it off and on, but just put that on your gas line, and you're gonna hear this, I think. Okay, 30 pounds of pressure on your beer. Okay, now, there's different ways. Again, I mean, this is not, a straight and narrow road, okay? At this point, you can leave it like this. You really need to put this in a fridge because the colder the beer is, the easier the CO2 is going to get into it. So set your regulator to 30 pounds, 30 PSI, put your gas on it, put the whole kit and caboodle in your fridge, and go and forget about it. Leave it overnight. 24 hours later, you should have carbonated beer. If it's not quite carbonated enough, then, I don't know, turn it down to 20 maybe, and put it back, and just leave it again. This is something you're going to have to experiment with. It depends on the temperature, it depends on the pressure, it depends on the beer, how it's going to be, and how much carbonation it needs. You're not going to hurt anything at this point, okay? Just experiment, relax, and this is all going to be fine. Now let's suppose you don't have a spare fridge to stick this in. Now I have a freezer, a chest freezer. And before I drink my beer, I stick my keg in there, and I get it nice and cold, and then I drink my beer. Well, let's suppose you want to carbonate your beer quicker. Let's suppose you've just kegged your beer, it's nice and clear. You did a secondary fermentation, everything's nice. You want to drink this stuff. Okay, what do? Well, what I would do is I would put this in the freezer or the fridge overnight, or the freezer for a couple of hours, and get it nice and cold. Bring it back out and then do what I'm about to show you. Okay, now I haven't got time to do that because I'm making a video. So I'm going to skip that step, and I'm going to show you that you actually can carbonate your beer at the temperature that I've got here, which is about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, and here's how you do it. I'm going to put my pressure up to about 40 PSI. That's pretty high. If you were doing this if you had this chilled down really cold, you would do this at 30. But because I don't have that luxury at this moment, I'm doing it at 40. It still can be done. Okay? Then what you're going to do, and I hope you can see this, is take your keg and make sure the line in valve, the gas in valve, is on the top here as we tip this on its side. All right? And now, I showed you this on part one. We're going to do this. Okay, and this is all you have to do. Now I want to show you, okay? I want you to listen to the gas, if you can hear this. I'll put my microphone near the gas. You don't hear anything, but listen to what happens when I rock my keg. Okay? So all you have to do is do this. And I'm going to do this for about 15 minutes. Okay, now that you've got your beer carbonated, however you decided to do it, whether you put it in the fridge overnight with about 30 pounds on it and let it carbonate slowly, or whether you did what I did, which was roll the tank around a little bit and force carbonate it that way. That works better if it's cold, but I didn't chill this down because I didn't have time. I'm making a video, so I wanted to get this done now. So I did it at about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll see how it worked. I did it for about 15 minutes, rolled the tank down, had some dinner while I was doing it. So, okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is consider the fact that if you reduce the pressure of your CO2 tank before you reduce the pressure in here, then the beer quite possibly could come spewing out of here through your gas line, and you don't want that. All right, so you want to reduce the pressure here first before you reduce it here. Maybe if you're just beginning kegging, the safest way to do this would be just to disconnect the gas line altogether, and then you don't have to worry about anything getting into your gas line. Because if it gets into your regulator, you're going to screw up your regulator. Okay, so I've disconnected my gas line. Now what I'm going to do, let's take that off for a minute, is I'm going to let the pressure There's 30 pounds on here, okay? I'm going to let the pressure out of here. Now, because I just got finished rolling it all around, it's probably going to be pretty angry inside there, and there's going to be foam all over the place. Best thing for that is to leave it sit a couple hours before you do this. But again, for the sake of making a video, I couldn't do that. So I've got a towel here, and as I release the pressure inside the keg, we're probably going to get some beer coming out through the pressure relief valve. Oh, yeah. Yes, we do. So that's why I've got the towel. There we go. Let's wipe that up a little bit. Okay, now there's zero pressure inside of here. Now, I'll take my screwdriver, or whatever you use to do this, and I'll take my tank pressure down, take this down to about, take it down to about 2 pounds, because it is not chilled, so we don't want to pour it too high of a pressure. Okay, let's see what we've got. Now this beer probably will not be clear yet. It is still fairly young. It's going to sit in here for about a week. But I, again, for the sake of the video, we're going to see if rolling the tank around actually worked to carbonate the beer. Reconnect the gas line. Okay. Now, again, this is not ready to drink. It's going to be cloudy. But I just want to see if I got the carbonation right, if it's carbonated or not. Let's see what we got here. Probably could use a little bit more serving pressure there. There we go. That ends up being about, that's about 3 pounds. Okay, it's a little cloudy, not too bad. Certainly not quite ready to drink yet. It's got to sit for about a week and clear out, and then it'll be ready. Let's see if it's carbonated. Not bad. I'd say it's about 3/4 carbonated. Again, it would have worked a lot better if it was cold. So what I would normally do is put it in the freezer for a couple of hours, get nice and cold, bring it back out, and then do the roll. Okay? And the gas is going to get into the beer a lot better that way than it would at room temperature. Again, play with this. This is not rocket science, guys. You can't hurt your beer once it's in here, covered in CO2. Carbonate it. Read the things, the charts I've put down in the more info section. Watch other videos on YouTube about kegging. You'll get all the information you need. Okay. Once it gets down cold, we get the proper carbonation. It's going to be good. You need a drip tray, by the way, and I've got one. So there you are. Thanks for watching. I hope this series helped. It was very, challenging with 2 cameras and everything, but hey, we got through it, and I hope it helped you. Watch the other videos and start kegging. It's awesome, and you'll never turn back to bottling. Cheers, guys. Take care.